So 6th September 2020, Sunday, 5:37 p.m. Yum, 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 yum. All right, seems like it's good to go. See, YouTube just starts.
Yeah, automatically.
That's so weird. But yeah, seems fine. Anyway, first things first. What brings you to Latvia? What are your impressions?
I started hitchhiking in Norway, and my journey leads me to Iran. So I started on Lofoten Island and traveled through whole Finland. Now my goal was to see all the Baltic states, to get into cultural contact, to learn about the history. And since I'm traveling through, I want to get to know the Baltic states.
And impressions?
I used couch surfing, and I made like my trip here to Riga public. So a girl on couch surfing, she wrote me if she can show me a little bit around through the city. So I had a 8-hour walk through the city. I had been at the harbor, Old Town, and we're exploring the area. And I really do like it. Like, there's a lot of different architecture here, and I'm really enjoying it. It's a lot of parks, super green. So my first impressions are super good, actually. Yeah.
Where are you from, Germany?
I used to live in a city called Taunusstein. The next city is called Wiesbaden, and then the next city is Frankfurt.
All right, Frankfurt, the big one, right?
Yeah.
The financial center.
Yeah. Frankfurt am Main is it called? Yeah. Like the big bank city.
I would imagine that's more modern than what you could see here.
It is more modern. Yeah, it is. It is known, for being a bank city. The European Central Bank is sitting there. And but there are also a lot of old buildings. Like, I could spot a lot of similarities, especially in the old town. Like, what I heard, that there were like Germans that were like building the houses there. So I could spot a few similarities there.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like Riga isn't at all modern as Frankfurt. Like, you can't compare the two cities. But for the old buildings, I could spot a few similarities.
I get you. You know what? First impression of you was, you reminded me of, the rapper Macklemore.
Yeah. Some people say that to me. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, maybe it's my haircut.
I think that's part of it. Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
All right, so I'm not alone.
Yeah, you're not alone.
Good.
I also like to go on thrift shopping. So I also like thrift shops.
Yeah.
So yeah, there are quite a few similarities, I guess. Yeah.
What made you go to Norway, and how did you start in Norway? Did you fly by plane?
I flew to a place called Bordeaux. It's like a bigger city in the north of Norway. And my best friend, he studied medicine in Czech Republic with Beate. And they engaged now, and they work together in the same hospital. So I got free accommodation there, and I wanted to visit him. Like my usual plans before I made a decision to hitchhike from Norway to Iran was going to Australia for work and travel here. And I quit my job, I quit my flat, I prepared everything for going to Australia. And then the crisis came, and
Corona,
yeah. And so I wasn't able to get to Australia anymore. And I had to figure out a new plan. So I wanted to travel. I didn't have that much money, so I decided to hitchhike. And I have friends that told me a lot about Iran, and that it is a super safe country, super nice country with super nice people. And so I made the decision to hitchhike from Norway to Iran.
Except if you are an army general.
Yeah, it's like if you are like from the USA, if you are reporting for BBC, like I get to know a guy, he is working for BBC, he was declined to enter Iran. I think then you may have problems. But I also made like it public that I want to visit Iran, and like 10 people wrote me, if you visit this town, I want to be your host, I want to take care of you, and you can live at my place and all that stuff.
On couch surfing?
Yeah, for couch surfing. Yeah. So it's also popular in Iran.
I would imagine, yeah.
And the people there seems to really like people from the Golden Western. I don't know why it comes like this, but they want to get to know the culture and how we are living, and if they want to know something, I'm eager to help, you know.
So you started in Norway because you had a friend living there?
In Lofoten.
Yeah, and then you just decided, all right, Iran, why not?
I planned beforehand, before I visited him, I packed all my stuff for the hitchhike journey. So when I got to Bordeaux for visiting my best friend, we started for 1.5 weeks for traveling around together. We had been in different national parks, we were fishing and doing hiking, all that kind of stuff. And then I had 1 week for my own because he had to work. So I lived at his place with his girlfriend, and we were climbing with friends of him in Henningsvær, a proper 350 meter climb. It was really, really nice. And I did some day tours by my own. I was dog sitter, and I was cooking food, you know, like doing things. And then it started. Then the news told me that Finland is going to close the borders because there were too many cases of COVID, and they wanted to close the borders on Monday. So I had to start hitchhiking on Friday. I wanted to start on Monday, but I started 3 days earlier, and I wanted to see the North Cap. That was like one point I really wanted to see, and so I had 3 days to hitchhike about 1,400 kilometer. And this was my first big challenge I had, and but it all worked super good. Like, I'm here now.
Had you hitchhiked before?
Yeah, I hitchhiked before, like with my best friend that I visited. We hitchhiked about 400 kilometer to the Love Parade. It's like it used to be.
Wait a second. You mean you just hitchhiked in Germany?
Yeah. And every now and then I hitchhiked from one village to the other when there was no bus coming or something like this. But this is the first time I'm hitchhiking like this huge distances and between countries.
What was your job you quit?
I was a kindergarten teacher.
For real?
Yeah. Why are you asking for real?
Because it's usually sort of the dominion of young women who graduate, at least I think in here who graduate university for I think pedagogy in a sense, right?
Yeah.
But I'm not sure how many of them had in mind the actual career of a kindergarten teacher. Is just almost like a not necessarily a stepping stone, but something you just come about. I think so. How did you come to be a kindergarten teacher?
I did a lot of jobs in my life, and the education to a kindergarten teacher is split into 2 different like schools you have to visit. And I visited one part of it. Okay. And usually you need both of them.
Why 2?
It's like you need 2 years. You need 2 years to prepare for the big pack you have to learn, per se. Or you have the highest school graduation, and then you can skip the first part and you can do the 3 years.
Interesting.
So I wasn't done at all. And a friend of mine asked me if I want to work at her place, and at this time I was like working as a freelancer for like kind of like promotion jobs. So I was working as Santa Claus in a supermarket store, and I was working a bunch of kind of jobs like in events, for big events, you know, as a host, like putting tickets and organize stuff. And and then she asked me if I want to work there, and I didn't have a lot of money. Like, I was in kind of like trouble because it was hard. It was hard for me for getting jobs in the place where I used to live, and then I agreed. And then I worked there for 6 years.
6 years?
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it's a long time, yeah.
Did it crush your soul?
Like, the first 4 years were super, super nice and super awesome. And then I had like new colleagues working with me. And for them, it was like there's only one way of working.
All right.
And it was like...
Which was totally different from yours?
It was different of mine. But, you know, I can adapt, and I could understand like their point of view. But Yeah, it wasn't working as it did before, and a lot of stress came up, and I didn't felt that comfortable as I did before, and I think I want to work in a different job now since I quit. I think if you can work as a kindergarten teacher, you can do a bunch of other stuff too.
Yeah, that's why I'm curious, because it seems to me that you would need a lot of patience.
You need a lot of patience, yeah, and you invest your heart, your muscles, your bones. Like a lot of people that are working long in this job, they suffer from back pain, and
because of what? Picking up children,
yeah, all that kind of stuff. You always have to lower yourself to get on one height with the children if you speak to them.
Why? Is it psychological?
It's a psychological thing. You don't speak with the children like from top to down. You try to be on one.
Sounds a little bit silly if you ask me.
Yeah.
You are just higher. That's the fact.
Yeah, but if you are higher, like you can.
It's not authority, right? It's just physical.
Yeah. It's of course. But if you're higher, you are being an authority, like, and if you are, and you have to show them too. But if you really want to get into the child, and if you want them to open to yourself, you have to get on one height, you know.
But does it make a difference? Because they're children, they're not so smart.
They are smart. Like,
man.
Not intellectual. They're not intellectual. I mean. They're not intellectual smart.
They're like small monkeys, right? Intuitively, they just have impulses.
They have impulses, yeah, but they know a lot of stuff. Like, they're not intellectual, clever, or smart, not like this, but they can feel like emotions, and they really get fast what you want from them.
Of course, they're communicative. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
But that's why they don't feel threatened by a person who is higher than them, usually.
Yeah, I work together with a guy. His name is Ingo. He used to be a pro basketball player. He's from California. Okay. And he played basketball in Limburg then, and he met his wife, and he couldn't continue his career as a basketball player. So he worked as a native speaker in our kindergarten.
Like English?
English, yeah. He was talking English with the children, and he was like 2'9". So, and it's like, of course the height is some kind of authority, but like if the children have like problems or like whatever, you try to get down to the same height as them, you know.
It's difficult for me to believe that makes any difference to the small kid.
It makes a difference.
Because they don't think in those terms. Because this is an intellectual concept, having an authority figure above you physically, right? Because it's sort of almost like a primitive theatrical perception of life, right? That somebody has a power position, and so it kind of shows in a physical way, right? But that's a concept for literally theater. It's for a scenario to actually make a perceptive frame. But on a small child's level, they don't see the world as authority figures and submissives. They just see somebody who has some type of knowledge or intuition or not, right?
I see your point. Yeah, I get it. But it's also about like, it's intuitive, you know? It's in your mind. You don't have to learn it. It's not a thing that you have to learn. It's a psychological thing that is set from the beginning on. Like, not from the beginning on, but at some point.
It's definitely observed.
Because you feel threatened. Like, if someone talks to you and he is getting too close and he is like getting through your borders and he is like above you, you feel like threatened, and then you won't open as someone is like talking with you on one height.
Well, but there's a difference between threatened and just a sense of respect.
Yeah.
Because you want even small buggers to respect the adults, right? Otherwise, it's just mayhem.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It is also really important that the children have respect, of course, because you don't want mayhem. You want to have things under control. And if you say to the kids, now we're all sitting in a circle, then it has to go like 5 seconds and everyone sits there. And if you say everyone cleans up now, you want everyone to clean up. So you have to be an authority. But in some kind of situations, you have to be one height with the kids. If you talk about they're frightened, they're like whatever, so they can open to you.
Sounds like you would have a lot of anecdotes.
Anecdotes?
Yeah, just from those silly conversations with small children.
Yeah, but it's not just silly conversation. Like, it's much more than that. And it's not an easy job, I can tell you. It's
well, because they are not your children.
They were part of my children, like I said. They were my children. I also said.
Well, of course you were responsible to them, but meaning that they are not your close family, right? It's still other people's children.
Yeah.
So you have the double responsibility of taking care of a small human being and also actually not getting into trouble with the parents.
Yeah. Not in trouble with the parents, not in trouble with the boss, not in the trouble with your colleagues. You have to follow the conception, like there's a written conception, how you have to work. You have to do documentary every day. You have to make documentary. You have to...
It's funny how those people who didn't really come up with these concepts make up their concepts, and then they want to basically establish them as the best practice, even though they never really experienced it as children themselves.
It's a huge difference between the theory and the practical. Like, in theory, everything sounds so awesome and so good, but like in 90% of the time, you can't do it like this.
Yeah.
It's like this.
Because it's too intellectual and too little intuitive.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah. And like, of course, like rituals are super important for the children to grow up because it gives safety and all that stuff. But I think you also have to break rituals and you have to give like children the opportunity to do their own things, especially like being creative and all that stuff. And if you have like too much rituals around it, they can't get out of it to explore themselves, you know.
I don't know about what is the best formula for developing creativity. I definitely agree with the concept of if somebody knows what they want to do, they should be able to pursue it. But usually it's the funny thing is creativity many times comes out in those places where creativity is almost actively discouraged. Right, because it gives you a reason to be spiteful, and then you just think of ways how you can actually draw within the lines and still be creative and have your own style or something.
I think there's a lot of different arts of being creative, but the creativity you described is my favorite. There's a song of Eddie Vedder. He says, I did know all the rules, but the rules did not know me. Like there's always a way and you can always be creative to find your own way. Yeah. It is like this. But I think creativity is really a huge spectrum. And if you think about the problems we have now in the world, we need creative solutions. And
I don't know, do we?
Yeah, I think so. Like
for what? For COVID?
No, not for COVID. Like for fuel, for oil. Like
it's already there. It's just not implemented.
It could be.
It's not like there would be a lack of patents, right, for alternative fuel sources. It's just that either they were bought up and just held. Withdrawn from the market or otherwise, but it's definitely the ideas have already established themselves in some form of patents, prototypes. It's just that once the market is basically full with gasoline products and oil products, it's hard to change, right? It's a more than 100-year-old industry. So
I also read that like Tesla already had plans for an alternative motor, so I think there are a bunch of things,
because he was the what type of he wanted to electrify the world, right? And he was for free energy, that type of things.
Yeah, but there's a huge fuel and oil lobbyism going on, and they are
well, technically it will never cease to exist, right? It's just curious to me how they didn't just switch to another industry and made it their point of lobbying, right? Because they could own the hemp market, for instance. Why not? And just make bioplastics, right? It's still plastic, but still the source would be otherwise, and they just rule the plastic market for both ends, right? Hemp
they,
and oil.
they could take everything. Yeah, I see your point. I see your point.
Yeah. Because I remember reading in Rockefeller's biography that he once he established Standard Oil and sort of dominated at least 2/3 of the American market, there were several places who basically didn't want Standard Oil products out of spite because they were almost like a monopoly. So what he did was actually created different brands and just sold to those people under different brands, so they didn't know that they were buying from Standard Oil.
I see.
Because a businessman doesn't really care about the brand, right? About the logo. It's just that you're still buying from me, and that's about it. And so even though those people didn't want to buy from Standard Oil, they were gullible enough to actually buy from Standard Oil because they were just manipulating the market in a comprehensive way.
So what you are saying, even if you have like creative people that are like coming up with creative solutions for different kind of problems, you think there's already a market behind it, so you can't change things?
Well, I think it's mostly related to the creativity having beneficial impact on already existing mammoths, because I don't know of any industry that does go down without a fight.
Yeah,
I don't know though. And so really creative solutions would mean totally disturbing a whole market, right? Which is just nothing beneficial to anybody, right? Because the oil industry at one point in time was also a disruptive new technology industry, right? Because let's say people used whale oil for lamps and different things from animal products, and then Standard Oil was named Standard Oil because they standardized all those things, right, and made them more cheap, more reliable, and more affordable, right? So all those things were beneficial for people in general. It's just that once a company gets so big that it basically organizes the whole or the biggest chunk of the market, well, people tend to view them as sort of like a trust, right, as something as to be, well, I don't know why, but they sort of thought by breaking up Standard Oil they would somehow break up the grasp of the owners, which is just plain old stupid, right? Because they broke up Standard Oil into I think 7 companies, and so they just basically made them even richer because all those 7 companies had more of a value separately. And of course there were creatives who innovated how to refine better oil products and how to create new products from the same oil, right? Those were creative solutions, but they fit right into the pattern of actually the new industry booming.
So they used it by themselves for making even more money?
Well, I don't know about inventors and engineers, but I think they have the fun of actually just experimenting and trying things and finding something out, irrespective of whether or not the things that they experimented on were used to create medicine or the atom bomb. I just think it's just fun to experiment, and engineers like to engineer, right? And scientists like to research. And then somebody has to have a either profit motive or a political motive to actually use them, to actually pay them, right, for their solutions and inventions. And I think at least half of the inventions that would be useful to society are already there. It's just that nobody has figured out how to make them profitable for a company, because a company would need some type of intellectual property, some exclusivity in distribution, something that allows them to actually scale and make a profit. Otherwise it's just a good idea but no execution.
I see.
Yeah.
And I also think like the lobbyists try to hold down like new things that get developed new, because they have like the interest to keep the oil market as it is.
I would guess a little bit more in depth. I think they want to encourage the research and new inventions, but they also want to own them. So they decide whether or not to use them and when to use them, right? Because it it would be silly to actively try to discourage somebody to not look into something, right? You might as well be interested. Oh yeah, come work for me. Come work for my research and development team, right? And then you do your research and do your mine research. And yeah, if you have a nice idea for alternatives, good. But my company owns the patent if you do.
Yeah.
And one person doesn't have all the resources to do their own research many times, so they use the company as a source of money and resources, and the company uses them to have the property afterwards, and to decide whether or not we want to make this a reality or just have it stored somewhere.
Yeah, I think there are a lot of things stored.
Yeah, for sure.
Don't know.
Because interestingly enough, many times patents are also related to national security, which wasn't the initial thought of patents.
Not at all.
The initial thought was actually to just allow people who have those new inventions to protect themselves against forgeries, right? But yeah, afterwards, why not, right? Just make it into law that no, we as a government, for instance, we don't have to tell you why, but we think this and this and this should be under our control, and we don't release it to the public. Don't ask questions, right?
Yeah, it's like this.
And so it's always funny because national security is always related to the economy, always.
Yeah.
So if some disruptive, let's say, energy solution would come up with a patent, you best believe it would be classified.
Of course.
Made government property.
Yeah, of course. Otherwise, a lot of money would vanish.
Oh, money and influence. Because the energy market, I mean, Germany, for instance, right? Germany has always the troubles politically with America because they are so friendly with Russians, right? Because of the Nord Streams, because of Gerhard Schröder. That dude.
Yeah, I think Germany has made some wrong decisions. Like,
you mean Angela? You mean Angela?
I mean, like for the energy topic, like the politics said, or like the people voted that we should take a step outside of nuclear power, and
after Fukushima,
and now we are buying nuclear power energy from France, and we are buying energy from Norway. Like, it doesn't make sense. We don't have green energy at all. Maybe you think you buy green energy, but in the end, it's nuclear power energy most of the time.
Well, I think up to a point, right? You have wind parks.
Yeah, some, but I don't think that wind parks are the solution, because there are also a lot of people that are like against wind parks. Like
they do look hideous, yeah. They're not so.
But people vote against nuclear power, and they are also against like wind energy. It doesn't make sense at all. I think people can't like think 2 steps forward, like what occurs if we vote for this, what kind of new problems will show up.
But you still have solar energy, water energy, right?
You think it's enough energy for the 80 million people living in Germany?
I think if they would plan it correctly, probably. Because I think most of the economy is wasteful. I don't think the economy is efficient at all. I think many resources go totally away. It's like, I would say, the same ratio with energy as like in grocery stores with food products that have the expiration date. Right? It's not efficient. It's not an efficient system if, let's say, half the products on the shelf have to be thrown out into the garbage because their expiration date has come. It's not an efficient system, but that's the most efficient system yet, somehow.
I think just the step was too fast for quitting nuclear power. I think we should have like better plans beforehand, like what the alternative is to it.
Oh, besides, actually, besides the hemp thing, I think hemp is totally something that could actually make alternative energy a real thing. Because hemp would be used for basically all types of needs, not just fuel, also for food, also for clothes, also for home shelter.
Yeah, as an alternative for plastic. Yeah,
same.
Yeah,
see. So Angela should have just made this second step, right? After Fukushima, we quit atom energy, and we start cannabis energy.
Yeah, I would love that, man. I would love that.
Yeah.
It is like this, yeah. But they don't dare. I don't know why. Maybe because we have too many old people that are against hemp, and they can't see like the positive effects.
Germany is pretty conservative in general, right?
Yeah,
it's not like Dutch people.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah.
Do the Netherlands have any energy problems?
I don't know.
Yeah, I would imagine, because I would imagine the Dutch people are the smartest people in Europe.
Why? Because they legalized marijuana?
Well, no, because they have those same values as every European continental society, but they have somehow the modern version of all those values, right? It's just modernized up to a social, political level that's just working. It seems everything's efficient over there.
It seems to be, yeah.
Even though I haven't been there, it just seems so.
Like, I have been in the Netherlands, but I couldn't get like politic insight in like what they're doing, but the people seem to be super happy. And if you go to Netherlands, you see everyone is riding their bicycle. There are not a lot of people driving their cars, you know. It's like, I also see that they are like one step forward of us in some kind of topics.
Because I think the Netherlands is what basically at least half the size of Latvia, but has 5 times the population. So they are smarter than us. I mean, that's a given, right? And I don't know why it's not already commonplace to just look for best practices and try to implement them just as directly as you could, right? Because there's no need in tinkering something that already works. It seems to me like it, right? Germany, for instance, probably too big of a country, maybe, because I don't think any Berliners don't have anything in common with Munich people.
Not at all.
And but still, I think Germany has those municipal autonomies almost, right? They have some type of local governing, so it's not that bad, I guess. If you have the Autobahn.
Yeah, but the Autobahn, you know, I don't know. Like, I'm hitchhiking now. I hitchhike now through whole Finland, and I really like the roads there too. Like, of course, it's no Autobahn, you know. But what is Autobahn? Like, I don't know. We have a lot of construction sites on Autobahn, and we have traffic jams like all over the place where I used to live. Like, it's not as efficient as people might think.
No, I don't think it's efficient, but it's just something that represents, at one point in time, a really big change and advancement of the whole organization of society, economy, right? And the next step would be probably to just have fast internet everywhere. No need for a physical Autobahn. You just need physical communication lines, right?
Germany lacks of fast internet. Germany lacks of fast internet, and even the telephone service isn't like completely set. So often you don't have service at all.
I was I think 2013 or 2012 in Germany, and then I really understood that Germany is not the great country I thought it was, right? Because I remember being in Stuttgart and having to pay for every little thing. Just here I thought it's almost commonplace to have free Wi-Fi everywhere, right? To have optical internet, everything. Then you go there, you work with Windows XP still, right? All right, why not?
It's like this, yeah.
And then I found out why that is, because of too much prosperity. After the Second World War, there was no real political or economic problem, so different type of organizations established themselves as almost monopolies, and then it's just they don't want to advance if they don't have any more profit with it, right? They don't have to compete. After the Soviet Union collapsed, Latvia started from anew in many fields, so it was up for grabs. Everything competed with everything, right? But in Germany, no. And then I remember somebody telling me that after the European Court of Justice decision that now Germany has started to establish bus lines between cities, which was so because I remember.
But it was against Deutsche Bahn. Like they really had to make through that the buses are like allowed to give this offer to the people. Yeah.
And so that was strange sounding to me because intercity buses is just so common here, right? But then because you have different organizations have monopolies, and then everybody suffers from that. No new innovations, no competition.
Like the east of Germany should have grown faster than the west because it was also occupied by the Soviet, and we had to pay like a part of our taxes was for building up the east again. But as you can imagine, the money wasn't used for it. So this is why a lot of people from the east are angry that they don't have enough money, especially for rent. Like the rent system in whole Germany seems to be broken.
What do you mean broken?
Yeah, because a lot of people invested in the rent system for 40 years and they don't have the outcome that they should get.
But what is the rent system?
The rent system is that you pay the time you work until your retirement, and when you're retired, you get an amount that you invested back.
Oh, the pension system.
The pension system.
I thought you meant.
No, not the rent. For
flats.
No. It's the pension system.
The pension system. But I don't know. Has it ever worked?
I don't know.
Probably in Norway.
I don't know.
Because those pension funds are investing in Latvia, for instance.
Oh, okay.
Right. Norwegian pension funds are definitely one of the biggest investors in the world economically. Probably after the Arabs and Chinese. Yeah, they're no joke.
Oh, that's crazy. Yeah, I didn't know about that.
Well, I mean, Norway is a great example of having a big industry, but benefiting the people, I guess. Because every other nation would have just corrupted themselves and started offshoring money. And they just basically, I don't know how wealthy Norway is, but I have heard Norway is pretty nice.
That's what I heard too. Like, in Germany, the difference between Norway and Germany that I could spot is like that you can almost do everything with your phone. Like you can send money to everyone with your phone. If you moved and you have to register in a new village or new city, you can do everything with phone, and you can forget that in Germany. You have to walk everywhere, you have to sign, you have to be everywhere, you have to go from this place to that place and make everything by yourself. Like for me, I quit my job and I have to go now to Germany for one day, to some sort of people to tell them that I'm not able to work now, that I'm leaving Germany. And I can't do it with phone saying I already left. I have to go there, be present for one day, tell them that I left, and then I can leave again. It's like.
But what if you don't?
Then I don't get my payment if I come back.
Payment for what?
It's like I don't have work when I'm back, so they pay me some kind of money.
Unemployment?
Like, in unemployment, yeah, they pay me like 70% of the salary I got.
Yeah.
And if I don't show up for one day for telling them that I'm leaving, then I don't get anything at all. Yeah.
Well, but they do know that you are leaving then.
That I left already. I made everything. Yeah. I made everything up. I went to the city and on my passport it says that I don't own a flat in Germany anymore. Okay. Like everything is set, but that's not enough for them. I have to come for one day, be present and tell them that I'm not there anymore tomorrow. And then what? The next day. And then I get my money, my unemployment money.
And when do you have to afterwards come back again?
Yeah. I can come back again. If I come back again, then I get my unemployment money.
Wait a second, but don't you get your unemployment money every month?
Yeah. But not now. Now I get nothing at all because I'm not in Germany. I'm not available for the working market. But it's if I can make it to Australia and I come back to Germany, I want to have some money when I arrived because I worked for 6 years and they have to support me to get a flat again or that kind of stuff. Yeah. So I can find a place again. But I told me I won't get money if I won't be there for one day to tell them that I'm gonna leave.
Is it a specific date?
Yeah, it's not a specific date. I just have to go there for one day, be present.
Okay.
Yeah.
But don't you have any electronic signature?
No, we have, but it doesn't work with this topic.
No,
And
really?
I think with a if you deal with a lot of other things, it also doesn't work with electronic signature.
Yeah. So the conclusion: too conservative, Germany.
Yeah, it is.
Too conservative.
And I don't think that there is like actually a party you can vote for that is working with the problems we have right now.
That's not true. I think Germany had the hacker party.
Yeah,
Or
we
the
had,
pirate party.
Yeah, we have
Pirate
like the
party.
Partei, but I don't know if they have like the knowledge for like being competitive in economic.
Well, if they have any digital skills that they must have.
Yeah, but I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure.
Well, but do you see any other better alternatives than the because the pirate party was always with the one thing, right, that they want to have the 21st century type of government, right, which means you have some type of IT skills.
I think they have to be part in political decisions, but I don't think that they are the solution for everything.
See, you are conservative yourself. That's the conservative Germanic spirit.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, maybe I'm thinking too perfectionist for like having the perfect party. But
there are no perfect parties, right?
There isn't one. Yeah, but there isn't a perfect solution. But I think they could be a solution for certain topics right now. Yeah, for free Wi-Fi, for internet available everywhere, fast internet
which would be almost like a human right in 2020.
Yeah,
right?
I think it's almost it's a human right to have access to internet.
Well, it's definitely in the debate because technically you could do without, right? It's not like food or shelter.
Yeah, it's not like this,
but yeah, it's pretty damn close in the information society, and I think when you will be finished traveling, you will probably appreciate more Norway and probably be happier than you are still from Germany. Because
I consider moving to Netherlands actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's a better move. I'm not criticizing that for sure. I think Norway, probably Sweden, Finland, the Netherlands, and then actually I could go with Latvia. Like the top.
I'm not into political structures in all that countries. Like I just have small insight, and but I see your points, and I'm not happy with Germany at all.
Wait a second, you went through Estonia, right?
Yeah.
So how was it there?
Like I had been in the old town mostly, and as of what I heard, there's a shitload of tourism going on there.
In Estonia?
Yeah, like
really?
In Tallinn, where I had been. I just visited the capital city.
Ah.
So when I had been there, it was super nice to visit, super nice to see, and but the couchsurf host I'd stayed with, she lived outside of Tallinn, and this was like with those huge buildings with small flats inside. Like this was pretty much Soviet. I felt like I had been like somewhere in Russia.
Might be.
Yeah. So the outside of Tallinn was pretty much fucked up for me.
Well, that's what the capital cities look like. Yeah, dude. Yeah, don't get any false hopes for Riga.
Yeah.
I mean, you've seen the city center, which is Middle Ages, German, Swedish, Polish governments, Russian governments, right? And if you go outside of the center in the suburbs,
it's the same.
you'll just see Soviet style building, comrade. Right? That's
barracks.
That's how it went. I mean, a lot of those houses were built for the army and even were built by the army. Because they needed to build them fast, so
I see.
That's how they came to be. So but that's the same also in Lithuania when you go there, mostly. But new projects are everywhere, so the new projects are, just architecturally individual most of the time. Do you have your specific countries already set up where you will go?
I want to see Poland after Lithuania, but after that I have no clue, because I have to go with the flu, and I wanted to see Romania, Bulgaria, Turkey, Georgia. I wanted to see. Romanians
are the one people I've met who just literally say they have nothing good to say about their country.
Yeah.
The only people who I've met consistently. It's not like just one. Consistently, which is really, really radical.
Yes, but I want to see the poorer countries for setting up my values new, to appreciate what I got in Germany.
Very good.
So
very good.
This is
to recalibrate your senses.
Recalibrate the sensors, reset the mind. Yeah.
Very good.
Also, why I want to go to Iran.
Well, Iran, as far as I'm concerned, is probably in the big cities probably pretty modern, and probably very, very hypocritical, because they have to portray some type of church-going society, right? Whereas on the ground they are probably just perverts.
Like what I heard, the police and the soldiers are super strict. Like if you hold a hand with a woman and you're not married to her, you go into jail. If you drink alcohol and the police catch you, you go into jail. If you smoke marijuana and they catch you, you go into jail. Like they're super strict.
Well, they're officially super strict, but I think that's what breeds just underground culture in a big way. And then you have one generation after the other, and then it's called revolution.
Yeah, I also think so. Yeah,
it's just brewing. I don't know why, because I remember seeing those videos from Iran in the, I think, 1950s, right, which looked like America. Right, just girls with mini skirts going around, and once I think in the 70s the Ayatollah came into power, then it got weird for more than 50 years now.
It's crazy, yeah.
Yeah.
But I also think if you oppress society, revolution has to start at some point. Yeah.
Which is strange that, Islam doesn't have a great track record. Say what you will. The people, generally, individually, pretty good, decent people. But as an organized religion, pretty messed up. Don't get started with any type of country government, right? It's just I don't know any one Islamic country that would be prosperous. The closest might be Turkey, but they are not really that much Islamic.
No, they're not that much Islamic. Yeah, something doesn't work. Like I know a lot of Islamic people, and they have a really liberal side of view on the Quran. So I really enjoy talking with them about their religion, because they are not too strict into it. But as you said, if it works together with the government, somehow it gets fucked up and doesn't work at all.
Yeah, because I think it's the collective mindset, because in the Soviet Union it was almost the same, right? People kind of knew that that's horse shit, but still they somehow needed to portray some type of affront, right? And it just never goes good. It's just a miracle that the Soviet Union fell so peacefully, without so much trouble, right? But most of the time it's more of chaos, I guess.
How did Latvia became independent of the Soviet Union? Like it was in the end of 1980, beginning 1990.
Well, you could say that it started when the Gorbachev introduced the Perestroika movement, right? Of in the middle of the 80s, of reestablishing and reconstructing Soviet economy. But generally, what happened would be mostly, I guess, attributable to Yeltsin, because I don't know how, but Russia within the Soviet Union became sort of semi-independent, which means that they voted for their own parliament, which was a little bit weird, right? Because you had the Soviet government and the Russian government separately in 90s, and Yeltsin was the president of the Russian Federation simultaneously, while Gorbachev was the head of the Communist Party, right? So, and then once the putsch was started and sort of failed, then the Soviet Union broke down, and it started in Moscow, right? And then it just all the rest of the Soviet Union countries just basically said the same thing over and over. Yeah, so we see that you are crumbling down, we will secede. That's about it. And well, I think they mostly said we regain our independence, right? But it's just secession. Call it what you will, but it's basically secession. They just separated by declaring that they are separate. That's it. And it was just it was just fashionable, in a sense that it definitely didn't start in Latvia and in general. It started in Moscow, and then the rest of the 15 Soviet Union countries just in a matter of weeks. Basically, just declare. All right, we declare now independence after Russia. We declare independence after Russia, and then
it was the same in Germany. Like,
I think in Germany, didn't the wall fall in 89?
Yeah, and also in 89.
Yeah, but that was 2 years before we regained independence.
I thought it also started with you.
Well,
in 89.
That's the weird thing, right? Those reforms, because the falling of the wall was just the cornerstone of a reform movement, right? To have not separate societies, to have more of economic freedoms and business opportunities. That was the whole perestroika thing, right? But then it just got out of hand, right? Because in the 80s, the Soviet Union officials thought that they will be keeping still the reins on the people. But since Americans were pretty influential in those psychological operations and information operations, I mean, they funded those different type of radios and news organizations, and so they controlled the media in such a way that the people wanted to actually get free from the Soviet Union. And so it was basically the fall of the Soviet Union in 91 was probably 10 years in the making. Probably 10 years in the making, and it's just it could have been one day earlier, one day later. It's just that they decided to start the putsch when Gorbachev was on holiday. That's about it. And afterwards, I mean, people still have the same mentality in different aspects than in the Soviet Union. That's really troublesome many times. When you see actually the human has potential, right? But they are quite in psychological borders, right, within themselves. They cannot break out of the mold of the Homo Sovieticus.
Do you think there's a lot of discrimination going on between Latvian people and Russian?
Discrimination? No. I think it's mostly related to the fact that Russian ideology, and coming from Russia nowadays, sort of wants Russian-speaking people to portray as some type of mythical, pure ethnicity, which is just strange, because they are just a mix of Scandinavians, Asians, Ukrainians, Slavs, right, in different forms and factors. But I think many times when it comes to the former Soviet Union countries, Russia would like to portray Russian-speaking people in those countries as oppressed, which is not really true, because most of the people who are not Russian-speaking have actually the ability to understand Russian, speak Russian, and many times they do so in communicating with those Russian-speaking people, which is it's quite uncommon to have, let's say, one official language and still 2 languages on an everyday basis. Right? It's really uncommon.
It is, yeah.
And the funny thing is, Russian-speaking people were bringing a claim in the constitutional court because their children have to learn in Latvia, and that was last year.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So yeah, it's not, we haven't come too far with this whole discrimination thing.
Yeah, I think language is part 1, of coming together. And if you have 2 kind of like ethnics living in one country with different languages, it's hard to bring people together.
Yeah, because they still have the same mentality many times that they don't want to learn Latvian. Because imagine if you were, let's say, living in Latvia in the 80s or 70s, right? Russian, the official language, everything's Russian, right? And then all of a sudden, what? No, I have to speak Latvian? No way. Right? And you definitely would get a little bit sore. Imagine you being, I don't know, 50 years old or 40 years old. Now your language is not the official language.
Yeah, but on the other hand, you don't live in your own country, like.
Yeah, but not it's not their fault, right? If many times if you would have asked those people, they would probably have voted to stay. Because actually, I think what the original referendums in the Soviet Union were that they don't dissolve the Soviet Union, but they just have more freedoms within the Soviet Union. I think that was the original referendums, and then somehow or another they just went into a spiral, and then nobody all of a sudden wanted the Soviet Union to stand. But yeah, originally they wanted to have the Soviet Union still exist.
Yeah,
and many people would still probably want the Soviet Union to exist, because they basically say, well, now it's the European Union, they tell us what to do, and before that it was the Soviet Union that told us what to do.
I see, yeah.
But yeah, let's be honest, I mean, the European Union is way more, let's say, progressive in a sense, right? Those are better problems than that they used to be.
Yeah, better problems, yeah, you describe it with nice words, yeah. It's like this. Yeah.
So yeah, when you will be traveling through Eastern Europe, you will definitely get a sense of well-being about your home country.
I hope so, yeah.
Yeah. It's just that Germany, on an average level, is pretty probably conservative, and coming from that, also a bit boring.
It is,
because everything is sort of structured and everything's bureaucratic. Right?
Super bureaucratic.
Because I mean,
it's like there's this comic of Asterix and Obelix where they have to get a paper A38. I don't know if you know the movie.
I know the comic Asterix and Obelix.
And they have to run through the whole building to get this paper A38 or whatever. And this describes Germany so well. Like the bureaucracy it's crazy.
And even though nobody wanted it, they didn't also stop it. Because it's pretty easy to stop. You just say to people, if somebody comes up with an idea of having a new form, they better show you how to actually delete another instead. That's it. You just don't create more.
Yeah, but you
improve upon what's already there.
Yeah, you already mentioned this problem. The people in Germany, they say it worked like this the past 20-30 years. Why shouldn't we change, Well, don't get me wrong, I think Germany will get definitely a bad awakening once Polish people get into their groove more, because I think the past 10 years have been great for Poland, for instance, because I think Poland is the best mix of Eastern and Western Europe. You have big countries, big commerce, and basically I think 7 days a week working days. Because I remember being in I think it was Stuttgart, and feeling just out of place when some German told me, we don't work on Sundays,
right? It's and the shopping centers don't work on Sundays. It's just you're crazy. It's just crazy. No, it's a holy day. Yeah, holy day.
It's a holy Sunday. Yeah, we call it Holy Sunday. Yeah.
But still, I mean, it's great if you can just go outside your house on a Sunday and go to a grocery store. It's great. It's great. It works. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, we'll have to see what comes. Yeah, I'm also pretty excited to see Poland.
Yeah. I mean, you will be definitely the more wiser once you see Poland and Romania. Because I've never been to Romania, but yeah, what I've heard is
what you heard. Yeah.
Nice people in general, because they have, well, a tough mentality, right? It's always, I think it's always better to have a tough mentality than to have a spoiled mentality when it comes to society, because Romanians, they are not spoiled, right? With nothing for the past I don't know how many years. Yeah. But French people, I would say they are spoiled in many ways.
They are.
Germans also many ways spoiled. Danish people spoiled, right?
Like, I would describe myself as a really open-minded German. But you showed me that I'm also like somehow caged in my mind when it comes to election. But yeah, if I see the people that are really super conservative in Germany, it's really crazy. It's crazy, and they complain about everything, about every little topic. They complain. They have to make huge Facebook posts. It's crazy. They can't see their own value, what is right and what is wrong, and what we have to work on, as you are saying. It's crazy.
Well, it's a better way of spending your time than to just watching soap operas, right? But it's definitely the most useful time. It's probably a little bit better than watching soap operas, but it's definitely a lot worse than reading a book, and or maybe getting another job. I don't know, qualification, something that actually challenges you. Yeah. Because the challenges is definitely something I wonder about Finnish people, because it seems to me that they are pretty wealthy, but because of the climate, I guess, they are still in a sense challenged, and they don't seem spoiled in a way. They seem pretty grounded.
Yeah, for me they also seem super grounded. They were complaining about the winter times and that it's rough, especially for trucks driving. So they're describing what you were saying because of the weather conditions.
But I like the fact that I remember talking to some Finnish people, and so that they were saying that, yeah, it's pretty normal to have a sauna in your home, right? Which is, I mean, in Central Europe, you almost equate the sauna with a spa, right? But there is just it's just something common.
One guy told me he thinks there are like more saunas in cars in Finland.
Yeah, might be the case. I don't know about what it's like in Sweden or Norway, but it must be probably similar, right? Yeah.
What I can tell is sauna is the only word I knew in Finnish.
Is it a real Finnish word?
I think so, yeah.
Really?
Because the language was really awkward. Because in Norwegian or in Swedish, you can pinpoint some words between English and German, you know. But in Finnish, it's impossible to get words.
How did you communicate in English, right?
In English, yeah. But when I was reading stuff, you know, you can't guess any word because it's so different.
But nowadays you don't really need it. I mean, I was in Finland, I think October. Well, basically almost 1 year ago, and yeah, we were going through a grocery store, and I just popped up my Google Translator with the camera. And then translates on screen.
Yeah, I see. I also tried it once. It's no problem to get into the language. You can help yourself always. But it was just one of a kind. You know, it was special for me. I didn't have thought of this, that it's so unique, the language.
I don't know if it's unique because it's in the same branch as Estonian and I think Hungarian.
Oh, okay. So there are the roots.
Well, there are some fish eaters, right? Originally. Because I think the Finnish language originated from some seagoers in I don't know how many thousands years ago. And so I don't know how Hungary came into the mix. I really don't. But Hungary somehow is in the same Uyghur or something along those lines of language tree. And besides, you know what theory I have about the German language? There is no poor Germanic country in the world because of the Germanic language.
Oh, okay. Why
That's my theory.
Yeah.
Because the language is the way people think, right? They structure their thoughts according to their own native language. And I think the Germanic languages are innately sort of flexible and rigid. They withstand the test of any time, and so they allow people to think critically and actually develop new ideas. I don't know if I could, you know, pinpoint the direct point in history where it starts to be manifested, like undoubtedly, but I think everybody agrees that the Germanic speaking countries are pretty successful. I couldn't name one unsuccessful Germanic speaking country, including England.
Yeah, that might be.
And so that's why I would actually argue of having Switzerland actually to just rule the world. In a sense, you know, just exporting their government. Have outsourced them their government, because I think Switzerland is probably the best of all, right? They combine German, they combine French. I don't know what the two other were. Italian.
Yeah, but Switzerland is also doing their own thing ever since. They want to be neutral ever since, and they want to be by themselves ever since.
Yeah, but they are pretty smart people.
Super smart people. And one of the richest countries of the world.
Yeah, and I don't think they have any type of natural resources.
Not at all.
Just human capital.
Human capital, yeah.
And if they can do it, they could actually...
and Swiss banks, yeah.
So actually the idea should be to have Swiss people as kindergarten teachers.
Yeah,
right?
That would be good, yeah. That would be good, yeah.
Let's start there.
Yeah.
If a Swiss person is talking to you eye level, it's already something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Other than that, I don't know. When will you be in Iran?
End of October, beginning of November, I guess.
And then what?
Maybe traveling through Pakistan, hitchhiking through Pakistan.
Why?
Because Pakistan is they are living now in the most peaceful time since 12 years, as was what I heard. And Pakistan, as what people were telling me, is also super nice. There is just a region on the border to Afghanistan that is critical, that you shouldn't visit. But the other places you can go, and but I'm not sure yet. Like I have still this visa for Australia that expires in April. I think the 16th of April it expires, and once I activated it, it goes for 1 year. So maybe I'm trying to travel somehow from Iran to Australia.
And what was the original idea of you going to Australia?
To have a year of work and travel, to set my mind free.
But why Australia?
Because it's easy to get the visa, and it's one of a kind. It's you can see things that you never can see in Europe. It's a new continent.
Have you been to the zoo?
Yeah, I have, but I don't like zoos.
Yeah, but I mean, one of a kind. Let's go to the zoo and...
Yeah, but it's not... I want to see the nature. I want to explore the nature there.
I don't think even Australians want to see the nature there.
Oh, no, I want
They're
to
pretty
see
scared of the nature there.
Yeah, I'm not scared of the nature. You think of spiders and scorpions?
Everything, yeah.
I'm not scared of that.
Except when they are really, really lethal.
Yeah, but as what I heard is there are not that many animals like in the cities or on the coasts. You really have to go to the jungle to see venom animals.
But isn't Australia just basically 3 cities and a desert?
It's much more than it. It's much more. Yeah.
I think it was literally just 3 cities.
No,
And
it's
everything is just space in between.
Yeah, like the coasts are pretty urban. Like most parts of the coast, especially the east and the southeast coast, and also the west coast. And but the middle parts of Australia, there's just jungle, and you can't. I don't think you can go there. Like where the Aborigines live, I don't think you can go there for a holiday and have a nice time there. This is the place where I don't want to go to. But I think in the cities there are a lot of farms, and it's really urban on the coasts, so you don't see that much venom animals there. So
So would you hitchhike also there?
if it works, yeah. And if I have fun with hitchhiking, like I also can buy a car in Pakistan for a few euro and could travel by car.
How? To Germany?
No, from Pakistan.
From Pakistan to where?
Bangladesh, maybe. And then from Bangladesh I take the train, or I take the train from Pakistan and travel through India by train.
How do you plan those type of trips?
When I'm there. I can't plan them right now. I have to plan them when I'm like close to there. Because I have to talk to people, I have to get advices and stuff.
Yeah.
Like those guys where I stand, the Pakistani guys where I stayed in Helsinki, they told me that you have to pay like €3 for traveling 1,000 kilometers with the train. And that's not much at all. And maybe I could hop from city to city, do couch surfing. Yeah, that's one idea.
In Pakistan? I mean, it's difficult to tell if there is some type of interesting thing that a European hasn't been wondering about. I don't know. India might have some big discoveries, but Pakistan is basically just India, right?
Yeah, it's like a mix of Iran and India.
I guess so. I guess so.
So yeah, but I'll go with the flow. Like as I said, right now I planned for staying in Vilnius. I'm staying there with the mother. She was hitchhiking with her 3 children up to Norway, 4,000 kilometers, and I met her on the road. Like we were hitchhiking in the same car. So I will stay at her place for 2 or 3 days. Afterwards I go to Poland, to Warsaw, afterwards to Krakow, and then from Warsaw or Krakow I plan further. And so the journey continues. Like I can always plan just my next 2 or 3 destinations.
But it's mostly with hitchhiking?
Yeah. Like I will go to Iran just by hitchhiking. Yeah. And then from Iran I can...
You could also go by plane if you would like to, right?
Not yet, because I can't enter the country because there are too many infections right now. But crossing the border by car is, I guess, easier to sneak through or to get through than taking a plane.
So will you have internet in Iran?
I will get myself a SIM card in each Asian country. I don't have internet.
And do you post some posts on Instagram once you are in a particular country?
Yeah. So right now I did like I do a lot of stories, but I use Instagram more like for the things I'm seeing.
Yeah.
And I wanted to use YouTube more for the things I'm feeling. Like then the camera is more pointed towards me.
Yeah.
But for now, I'm super happy with Instagram. Like, and I'm like doing pictures of every capital I have been, like in most famous places.
Yeah.
And I think I will continue like this. Document my journey with Instagram.
Sounds good. Any other thoughts? How's COVID been for you?
I try to think about it as least or as few as I can, because I don't know, if I get it, I get it. I go on quarantine for 2 weeks and then I'm done with it. Like I don't bother if I get it. Like I'm not worried about COVID. For me, I'm a young healthy man, so if I get it, I get it.
Do you believe in conspiracies about COVID?
I think things got weird now with the second wave, and for me it's a bit weird that on the whole world there's like this second wave coming up right now, But I don't believe in conspiracies. It's like I want to get over with it and don't waste about thinking about it too much.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it could have a really big impact on us. Like, I don't think that government wouldn't use a crisis to install new security things. So something will happen. But I'm not sure what's going to happen.
You mean cameras?
Yeah, cameras, yeah, for measuring distance, or I don't know about this RFID chip with the vaccine. I have no clue what comes.
Mm-hmm.
But
would you like it to be that way?
Did we have RFID chips?
Yeah. To make us feel safer?
No, I want to be free just by my own.
No, but you could travel with the chip. It's just that you have a chip.
Yeah, if I could travel with a chip, I don't know. I'm not sure about it. I want to start worrying about it
what if they start implanting chips for those who want to have unemployment leave? You have to come for 1 day and we'll just give you a little poke.
And get a RFID chip, you mean?
Yeah.
Because I'm unemployed?
Yeah.
Then I would start looking for a job, I guess. No, I wouldn't do that. I want to go to Australia, like this is my dream. Maybe I would get a RFID chip and would say, yeah, go screw you.
In Australia?
Yeah, before in Germany. If I would have to get a RFID chip to get to Australia, and this would be the last thing to do, I think I would get one.
Mm-hmm.
I think so.
See, not that bad.
Yeah.
If it gets you to Australia,
yeah, I think so.
It's doable.
Yeah, I think it's just a matter of time until we all have some kind of chip that is readable or whatever. I heard Elon Musk is now trying the Black Mirror.
One.
Yeah.
This one is a tracking device.
Yeah, it is. Do you know the series Black Mirror?
I've heard of it. I've never seen it.
Yeah, it's really good. Yeah, it's the spy in our pocket. It's like my parents raised in east of Germany, and especially my father was against the government and how things worked. And just before the wall fell, a friend of him was demonstrating, and they ran into an office and stole all the papers out of it, and my father was close to get into prison. And the people in the past, they hated spies. And now we all have a spy in our pocket. Yeah, it's like this.
Well, those were the spies who just sold information to some secret police, right? But yeah, now it's something commercially.
It's commercially,
which is pretty good.
Yeah, it is good. Yeah, it also brings advantages. Yeah, it's not just bad.
Yeah. Because I don't know if, let's say, well, here's the difference, right? You have tracking devices, you have those smartphones in your pocket, but it's better than to be in America than in China. It's even though you could say China is more controlled, right?
They do face scans and all that stuff. If
yeah,
you
they definitely.
stores
and you never know what they are not telling you, right? What they are doing there, right? But in America, you have the sort of freedom to actually criticize the government from head to toe and still just walk around.
Yeah, it's like this.
Nobody's really bothering you.
Yeah, we're still free. Also with the spies in our pocket. Yeah, the phone is some kind of RFID chip already.
Yeah, that's what I mean, right? Because you don't have to force something upon people. You just have to make it a sort of a convenience. Yeah,
and an advantage
that you don't want to go without.
Yeah. And it will come like this sooner or later. It will go.
I don't know what will come next, because let's be honest, the smartphone is pretty awesome already.
Yeah, like the Apple Watch now is measuring your heart rate all the time. So if you have a heart stroke, you can give your Apple Watch to the doctor, and he can see what went wrong at what kind of time. So you get a better treatment. Yeah, there are a lot of advantages too. Yeah.
I don't know what would be the better advantage, to have a phone or watch that tells you when you have a heart attack, or some device that actually allows you to prevent a heart attack, right? Again, it seems if you are buying a watch to see when you will have a heart attack, it's probably not the best choice. In general, you might want to invest that money in a personal trainer or something like that.
Yeah, maybe you should. Yeah.
Well, anyway,
I just heard Elon Musk is trying to connect the brain with the phone.
The Neuralink.
Yeah, and he already like did something. I don't know what, but yeah.
Well, he's thinking about it, which means probably in 40 years' time, something might be happening. Because Elon Musk is, well, I'm not saying anything against him, but he seems a little kooky when it comes to those things, right? He's making predictions that I think 90% of them just don't go at all the way he's predicting them. And yeah,
I'm not into him that much. I just read the line that he's trying to Neuralink.
I've seen some YouTube videos, right? And it's just funny how it seems to me that he's sort of like a marketer more than an entrepreneur. He wants to sell ideas and then find those people who actually can execute on them, right? And it's just, up till now, as far as I'm concerned, Tesla is not even his working child because it was already there when he bought into the company, right? But he definitely got it more noticeable, right? And I guess
he also did inventions, right?
He himself?
Yeah.
Not at all.
Okay.
I think his first company was, I don't know what, but probably something similar to PayPal. And I think his second company was PayPal. Then that was his payday. And afterwards he bought into SpaceX, Tesla, and some other companies. And yeah, I mean, it's not like he would have invented something. It's just more of he promoted many things better than anybody, which is, I mean, fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah, he's doing his thing. Yeah.
And so now he's, I think, recognized as the only person who has $3 billion companies or something like that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But I don't know what the revenue model for them is. Right. What creates a company's net worth, especially in Silicon Valley, right? Because I remember there was this, was it not Thanos, but something along those lines of a company that sort of provided some type of DNA testing or something like that, right? And the head, the CEO of it was a woman who sort of imitated Steve Jobs. She was almost also dressed like him, tried to speak like him in the presentations, and then afterwards, and it was, I don't know, $30 billion company, something like that, right? And then I think last or 2 years ago, they found out that was a total fraud. The whole company.
Crazy.
But she was a billionaire for a time.
Yeah, it's crazy times, man.
All right, any final thoughts?
No, I don't think so. I think we talked about a lot of topics. My head is full.
Yeah. All right, then let's finish and let's see how it's going for you in 2 months. Yeah. In 2 months you should be in Iran.
Yeah, hopefully we will see what happens. I'm looking forward.
Did you also think of going into Iraq?
No, not at all.
Why? No Germans in Iraq, huh?
No Germans in Iraq, and I think there is too much going on inside of the country with rebels, and I don't want to visit Iraq. I don't know if it's so safe as Iran is.
Well, then same for Syria, then I guess.
Same for Syria, same for Lebanon, same for all those countries. I think I'm fine with Iran and Pakistan.
Okay.
So, yeah.
All right. Let's finish then.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you too.
I'll press a lot of stops now.